a personal hacking story. This is Mac Voices. Mac Voices is supported by MacVoices Magazine, our free magazine on Flipboard and on the web. Want to cut through all the noise and find out what you can do with your Apple gear? MacVoices Magazine focuses on just that, aggregating the best how-to articles and information. Get it by searching for Mac Voices in the Flipboard app or visiting macvoices.com/magazine. Welcome to Mac Voices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, this is Mac Voices Live. It's Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, whatever time that is, wherever you are. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/MacVoicesTV. You could be here with us virtually by being in the chat room and offering your comments, thoughts, opinions, ideas, anything else you want to offer. We'll pick up and run with. I promise we will. We have a little bit of a light crew tonight. There were a bunch of schedule conflicts that just sort of came together, but that just means we get to squeeze even more intelligence out of the panel that showed up. So get ready to be.
Important people are here.
Well, exactly. So get ready to be squeezed or something
Plus
like
me.
that. I'm glad Jeff wasn't here for that. Let's go around the room, see who's here, and we'll go from there. Looking very casual tonight, Mr. Brian Flanagan-Arthurs. Brian, good to see you.
Hey, good to be here. Yeah, enjoying spring break, and no tie tonight.
Very nice. Do I see the top of a tree on the shirt?
Yeah, it's born and raised. Yeah, it's a little thing for Arizona.
Okay.
It's a t-shirt company out here called State 48, 48th State, and they make just little sayings and stuff for Arizona.
Are you born and raised in Arizona?
I am.
Okay, great. Good to know. We're filling out your social profile.
Right.
Eric Bolden is back this time with another bird that I almost missed. Eric, you keep hiding them.
You had to go for the bluebird. I thought I could hold my finger up and we could do a Disney themed show. But then we don't have to sing, and I don't know if anybody wants that.
I know I don't. I see no reason to break the internet tonight. Thank you. Marty Jencius has joined us again, and Marty, it's always great to have you as a regular member of the panel. Now, I'm still getting used to having you here every time, and I love it.
Well, I'm going to try and build it in on my Tuesday nights so I can be here. I enjoy it. I learn a lot from these guys and listening to them, so it's great to contribute. Last week I was sick, and it turned into COVID. So I am just a day free of COVID, and went back to work a little bit today. So I'm really especially glad to be here.
Well, yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm glad that you were able to beat it back that quickly.
It's the second time I've had it. It's less fun the second time because you know what's happening, and it's just boring. There's nothing you can do. But yeah, it's I got on Paxlovid pretty quickly, which if you've ever had to take it, it tastes like kale. It's terrible. And it just leaves a bitter taste in your mouth, but it dampens all of the symptoms and dampens the virus until you can clean it out. So I'm glad to be back.
It tastes like metal.
Well, some people say metal. It's a real bitter taste. Metal would be a pleasure compared to what it tastes like. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes me want to go put my mask back on. Not experienced that. Last but not least, Dr. Jim Ray. Jim, good to see you.
And I'm just realizing that you have never said that you've gotten used to me being on the show.
No, there's just a certain baseline that you provide that never mind. I'm not going to be able to talk my way out of that one. Okay, so we talk a lot about privacy and security on this show, and I have to tell you, I've got to take just a little bit of time here and talk about what's been going on with me. Since the last time we got together, I've had a number of people very, very kindly reach out on both social media and directly and let me know that my Instagram presence was cloned. Very ugly page. Nothing is right. No followers. No, I think following only a few people, apparently trying to get them to follow back. Toward what end, I don't know. Interestingly, at the same time, I think 5 out of the last 7 days, I wake up in the morning and I have emails from allegedly or maybe legitimately from Facebook saying that there's been a password reset requested. And it's just a little unsettling from the standpoint that you feel like someone could be trying to take your identity. We read about this stuff all the time. It's a whole nother one that when it happens to you, because you come to understand and realize not even talking about the financial potential implications, just the social media. And I've told this story before on the show a couple of times, but a few years ago, my Twitter account was hacked. Part of it was my fault because I turned on two-factor authentication on everything. For some reason, that particular account did not get it turned on. And so for about, I guess it was 9 months or so, I was not in control of my main Twitter account. I had to set up a second one and try to steer people to that. Eventually, I was able to work with Twitter and get it back. But the most unsettling part, as far as I'm concerned, is that someone can be posting things, and happily it didn't happen to any significant degree. Somebody could be posting really hateful, objectionable, biased, inflammatory things, and your name is there, and it looks just like it's you, and no one has any idea unless they know you or know that you are on other social media and can see what's going on over there. And so it's one of the reasons, it's not the only reason by far, but it's one of the reasons that I have multiple social media accounts. And if you are seeing something that looks out of whack on one, like really out of whack on one, go and check a couple of the others, because it probably means that something has happened. I've taken all the precautions. I've done everything I can, but you don't know through social engineering or something on the back end what might happen. And so I wanted to just kind of issue a warning out there. First of all, if you get a follow from me or something really weird on Instagram, it's most likely not me. But more importantly, pay a little attention to this. This is not just us talking into the wind and trying to pontificate on things that don't matter or that happen to somebody else. It can happen to you. And unfortunately, it does. It did, again, with me with Instagram. I don't know what's going on with Facebook, but so far, so good. Anybody else here had any of those experiences recently or in the past where somebody's tried to obviously take over one of your social media presences?
Thought I did a couple of weeks ago. I got an email saying your Apple account password was changed. If this wasn't you, you better do something about it. And actually, I called Eric and wound up deciding to call Apple, and Apple was like, yeah, that's like a phishing attempt. But it ultimately turned out that it was real. And the email said, click this link. The Apple guy was like, we'll never send you an email that says click a link, but they did. And it turned out that my wife had gotten up in the middle of the night and wanted to buy something, and she changed the password. So we share an iTunes account.
Ouch.
So, Chuck, do I tell you the truth on this and risk being a target? Or do I lie and say, yeah, I've been hacked a lot of times?
Marty, that in itself is a good question. I don't mind throwing it out there because, it's already happening to me, but by all means, please enlighten us.
I have not been hacked. Now, there are certain social medias. Well, let me correct that. After Elon Musk took over Twitter, I started receiving all these really nasty, politically incorrect messages, and thought that I was hacked, but it was just because Elon Musk took over Twitter. Um, but really, I haven't been hacked. I had to change my password once on Twitter, and that resolved the problem. But I stay off of Twitter pretty much, and never got the Instagram hook. I have an account there, but I don't go on it very often or put things on it very often. And I have been happy to avoid TikTok. And now there are all sorts of other reasons to avoid TikTok, but I just have never gotten the sense of showing little clips about what's going on in my life. I'm a real minimalist when it comes to social media. I do have a Facebook account, and I have friends that are still on it. And every month or so, I go in and check it, and thought and see that they've been messaging me there, and I haven't gotten any of those messages. But yeah, I hang out on Mastodon now.
Okay. Brian?
I was gonna say, well, I haven't had, knock on wood, no attacks yet. I think a lot of us probably are pretty wise at using, unique passwords, things like that, on our different apps and things that we sign up for. Especially, social. I think we think of first, the complicated passwords and things of that nature for social media, banking accounts, investment accounts, things of that nature. One thing that I think a lot of people maybe not consider, a lot of just the random, say, restaurant, fast food app type things. I've gotten a couple of messages saying, there's an attempt to reset your password or attempt to log in. Please click here for a couple of fast food restaurant apps. And one thing that I was really cognizant of is not only creating a complicated password for those, but a lot of those apps, they want your payment information to be stored, like a credit card. So that way, you think of the convenience involved with, quickly ordering your McDonald's ahead of time or your Wendy's ahead of time or something of that nature. And then when you get up there, it's already ready for you, that type of thing. But tying it in with Apple, one of the nice things I like is not having to store any credit card info, but having that ability to do Apple Pay, where it's, you pay for it through Apple Pay and it's not able to be scammed or stored in that same way that your credit card may be.
I don't know, maybe it's just, I don't think it's, we all tend to think it's all about us, right? And at the end of the day, it's just about them trying to do different things. The bad guys just blanketing hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of accounts trying to get in. So I'm not quite so paranoid that I'm big enough and important enough to be a specific target for me, but it does seem like, there may be certain services or related services like Facebook and Instagram that, somebody is attacking. I know I've gotten more text messages probably in the last 2 months from questionable sources that are pretty obviously phishing attempts or attempts to get me to click a link. Everything from the post office, allegedly the post office, to Amazon, or even my own cell phone carrier. And it's like, no, I'm not clicking anything unless have just specifically requested it. In fact, I ordered dinner tonight and went to pick it up, and it's click this link to let us know you're here. Okay, I was pretty comfortable with that because I knew that there was no way that that entity would have known that I was ordering dinner unless it was legit. But I've just gotten to the point now that I don't click anything that comes in text. So sort of along that. Oh, Eric, I wanted to get your comment in too. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not that somebody stole my account, but that Facebook decided that somebody else's email address was me. So I get hey, so-and-so friend has a bunch of changes. I get their updates and a whole pile of other information. And there doesn't seem to be a way to remove the association. It's an interesting account. They seem to have lots of interesting friends. I'm willing to kind of leave it. I mean, at one point, I searched enough to actually find the person, send them emails saying, hey, you've got an account, it's linked to mine. You might want to, change that or remove it. And she says, I don't think I use that email anymore. So, and that was that. And I figured I did my notification bit, and I hardly use Facebook, so I just kind of left it.
Why don't you say that, Eric? Because I'm associated with an account on Facebook that I've been trying to get disassociated with, and thought I had been successful, and it still shows up. So, I don't know if that's a problem. And some of you may recall the purple iPhone emails I kept getting allegedly from Apple that may or may not have been from Apple, but I still get them. About your Apple Care is due and it's going to expire unless you click this link and renew it. And so, it's almost like somebody put it on a cycle and just keep sending it. Either that or it's legitimate, and some poor slob is out of Apple Care and has no idea. I don't know which. Sort of along these lines, though, I do want to recommend, both for the entertainment and the information value, you've probably heard us talk about on the show before another podcast called Darknet Diaries. A recent episode, I think it's the current one as we record this, but at the very least, episode 143. It's called Jim Hates Scams. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but let's just say this. There's a gentleman who really has taken the idea of tracking and scamming the scammers to a ridiculous degree. And the stories that are here, because he's interviewed and tells some of them about being able to hack into some of the bad guys' boiler rooms, basically, even tapping their cameras and their microphones, and recording everything, is fascinating. And it's entertaining and fascinating and quite a bit horrifying as to what these people can do or what they get away with. So it's an education to listen to that. And I would strongly encourage you go check that out, because it's one more example of, maybe if you listen to it and hear the approach that some of the approaches these people take, maybe it'll keep you from getting caught. Here locally, one of the local news organizations, one of those, we're on your side kind of things, set up a sting for some scammers and actually caught them. Had the police there and caught them. And so it's everywhere. It's I don't want to make anybody too paranoid, but at the same time, you absolutely have to be on your guard. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.